Okay, we are live. Let's put the music. Let's get together, and I can't wait. Look at Kylie's here, Yodi's here, Barbie's here. So just a nice little uplifting music, and we will start in just a few minutes. Okay, hopefully we have some people here. Let me put this down, and that way some people don't really like music, some people just like clarity. And over here, so guess what, guys, I'm going to be starting with a little bit of astrology, and you know I'm not an astrologer, so I'm just dabbling into it. So let me just, before I start, just let me say hello to everybody here. Who do we have? Knitting Yogi, la la la, Barbie, my regulars, Kylie, and Cup. I forgot your name, but I know who you are. Stacy, Marianne Knox. Hey, good to see you, Mary. Hi, Chris. Hi, Stephanie, and Annette. Hello, hello. So let me pull this up. So, how do I see I had to figure this out before, but I cannot do it now. So I'm just going to pull this chart up, which I don't think you can see me moving a mouse, and that kind of like sucks. I should have done it, but I just thought in the morning I had that afterthought where I really wanted to explain this. So you will have to figure out, let me see, maybe showing, you'll have to figure out where the sun is. This is like that round thing with a dot, right? And then maybe I should quickly do this in Photoshop for you to make you understand. Okay, let me do that. It's going to be much easier for me to explain. So otherwise everybody, oh, what, where, how is this done? And you know that I just don't like confusion. So let me see, where did I save my full moon in Virgo? And of course it's nowhere to be found. So let me do it this way, still pull it up from the chart, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm just tricking Photoshop and doing this. Okay, so this is like literally doing things on the fly. And unfortunately, Photoshop doesn't have this nice ways of, oh, there it is. How is this going to work if I do this? Okay, so let's make it just a little bit later so you can see what I'm, no, not everything. I did the right thing in the wrong place, so I'm going to delete this. Nope, I deleted everything. Okay, let's go to the beginning history. It's Mercury retrograde. Did I forget that? Did I forget that? So thank you guys for being patient. So there we go. I think I'm getting somewhere now. Yes, that's right. And let's copy this. I should teach Photoshop. I used to teach Photoshop, but since I got really rusty, so okay, maybe I should kind of like paint them in different colors too, so you guys can understand also what I'm doing. Color coding, isn't this a cool thing? So let's make the sunny one in a sunny color, in something yellowish. Let's make the moon one. Oh, what color do you guys want for the moon? This one is Sapphie, right? So silvery, but silver is really hard to do in thing. And okay, so there we go. I think this is going to be better. So let me replace this image with a different image, and that's going to make it much easier. Image, almost, and thank you for patience. I should have left the music, pretty music, to continue, but I haven't. So save, and there we go. That should be now replaced, and we should be able to all be on the same page, right guys? So let me see, how is this showing? If it's showing, oh, look at that, you're seeing everything I'm doing. That's actually pretty awesome. So you see where I have this yellow oval, this is where the sun is. If you see, the reason why I put the sun right there is because right next to it you're going to see that thing that looks like a fork. Well, that's Neptune. They are 1 degree apart. You see 19 on the sun and you see 18 on Neptune. But before I get there, if you look where the moon is, that gray thing on the bottom, right? Check it out, it is also 19. So that's what happens when we are dealing with full moon. That's kind of like we have it. If you're born on a full moon like me, then all your life is kind of like weird. You're always kind of like being torn. So I'm going to tell you really what is happening right now, what intensity we have like in all of this, in order for you to be really fully able to comprehend where we are heading, because this is what's going to be happening on the 9th. So you work out your time zone. It's going to be 1:44 p.m. in Toronto, so that's going to be on the 9th, very strong in the middle of the day, at least here in Toronto. So in Europe, you guys are going to already be heading in the evening period at this stage, right? So so we have this opposition. So basically, when we have this opposition from Sun, it's in Pisces, and the Sun is in Pisces. We are going through this Pisces transition. We're also going through Mercury retrograde. So it's kind of like few different things happening at the same time, right? So keep in mind what we are dealing here with. Virgo is a sign that is very strict. Virgo needs structure. Virgo needs things to be in order. Virgo is logical, and Virgo strives to have perfection, right? Pisces, on the other hand, is just magical sign. It's all about dressing up. It's all about living the dream, right? It's about past lives. It's about that ingrained memory, right? It's kind of like also the sign of confusion and sign of surrender. Pisces is connected to the divine and represents divine because we actually, it kind of connects with God and our beliefs, because we really need to trust in things we don't see or we cannot prove. And that sometimes kind of like becomes really, really difficult, right? So this is also called axis, right? Virgo and Pisces are on the same axis, just for example, like Aquarius and Leo on the same axis. So even though the signs are different, maybe the mission in life is different, they make really good teammates, but they're also going to be the most challenging teammates, right? So now, after what I've told you, imagine you put Virgo and Pisces in a car and they have to go somewhere during this transition. So Virgo wants everything clean in a car. You need to know where your sunglasses are. You need to know where's the little cloth that you wipe off your sunglasses. You need to know, where's your coffee. And, Pisces just couldn't care less. Pisces is just taking things out, putting it, what do you think about these glasses? Oh, I brought this one, I brought this one. So I don't know if you saw that movie with John Candy, Trains, Cars, and what was it? Trains, Automobiles, or something else. It was like hilarious. It's kind of like one sign can create horrible mess where the other sign is trying to create order. So who is going to win? Between order and mess, we know that mess usually wins. Now, the third oval that I put here, which is the one in green, is something that is going to create this balance, who is going to win, right? And that one is actually called sextile. If you kind of like really look this sextile, as you can see that in this kind of like blue charts and these arrows in between, if you know how to read astrology, but if you don't, just trust me. And you see we have Jupiter, we have Mars, right? So the sun is sextiling Mars and Jupiter in Capricorn, which Capricorn again talks about these long-term plans and commitment. So to summarize it and not to dwell on everything, so far this is all kind of like boiling down to the creative. Creative is going to be extremely important, and basically we will need to kind of let go of control. And control for many of us can actually manifest through different sources and from different means. So let's kind of like keep this in mind and remember this during our readings over here. So, where is my magic ring? Since we are doing with the Pisces, of course, I cannot forget this. I was also debating which kind of deck to take today, and I was picking this and this is and I said, Rider White it is. I just like feel. Let's go down to like something really, really familiar. So, Trains, Plans, and Automobiles. Yes, it was a great movie. And it was Canadian actor John Candy, who is no longer with us. So, Yogi. Yeah, Virgo and Sign of Aquarius. That's going to be interesting ride. And it's going to be, oh my God, everything is out of place. How do I deal with it? But that Rising Aquarius is already giving you this. So I'm doing this. I'm doing Rider White. I'm going to do this instead of angel messages, angel cards. So Pisces, since you're first, you're going to do you first. Then we're going to do Virgo as the second, and then we're going to do Capricorn as the third, because this is like something that is going to dominate the next few days. Also, guys, you need to know that they're like full moon rituals, and usually full moon is culmination of something that has maybe started in September. Some kind of like processes. So maybe this is now finalizing. If you want to let go of something, this is time to let it go. Write it down on a piece of the paper, burn it, or just have invocation to the moon, to the sun, and let it go, right? So it is time to remove any obstacles that are in your long-term kind of like plans, right? So Kyle highlighting with the craze here on people buying toilet paper in bulk. Well, yeah, actually, Virgo, this is it. You'll have Virgo people, you'll have Pisces people, right? And she's talking about coronavirus, right? And I don't know, guys, probably everybody's having the same thing. It is kind of weird. And no, I'm not health expert. Do not quote me. Always kind of like go to basically what they tell you. Like washing hands. This is the example that they gave us everywhere. And I'm thinking though, if soap and water can fend that virus away, this is not something very serious. But what is really difficult is not to touch your face. I don't know if you realize this, because that's how we kind of like transfer the stuff, even though it could be airborne as well. And I scratch my nose, I touch my eye, I scratch my eye like so many times, and now I'm trying to be very cognizant of it. It's kind of like driving me crazy. So maybe kind of have a Kleenex until this craze is over. I was just reading in the morning when I woke up about the couple that traveled to Rome, and the streets were empty and that kind of stuff. Well, the truth is, you cannot risk it. If you are sick, if you have compromise or have any comorbidities like diabetes, that can be deadly. If you're young, most likely it's not going to affect, which is really puzzling to me, and maybe it's conspiracy. And I'm really big on conspiracies. You don't even know that side of me. I'm always like looking, why is this there? Well, I do get it that people in China eat all kinds of stuff, that food is scarcity over there. Like, I mean, there's like definitely shortage and the people eat bats and stuff. I get that. And it could just happen like that. That's simply something mutated. But is it possible that somebody wants to get rid of people, or also this America-China kind of trade wars? You have to make everything to be a suspect, right? So talking about the soulmate came out. Talking about just like focusing on this full moon. This full moon in Virgo is going to make us get very creative. It might be some kind of breakthrough. So just think about Virgo is connected with medicine, and something that is going to happen. This might even, and let's hope this really is coming true, might somehow get some solution that is going to be very simple, because you're getting that logical mind with some enormous creativity. So this is like a triple creativity. It's almost like galactic. It's a very powerful full moon, but on a negative side, it can also make us reassess who we are. Am I eating healthy? Is my home healthy? Is my fridge healthy? Is my phone healthy? I actually did a digital detox recently. And what is a digital detox? I had so many things happening to me all the time, pinging from my Fitbit, pinging from my emails, pinging from my Skype, pinging from my clients. Nothing wrong about them sending emails and messages and comments on YouTube. The fact is that interruption just sidetracked me from doing what I wanted to do. So I stopped all the notifications other than emergencies on my phone. And you cannot get through to me like right now unless you are on my closest people list, such as that doctor, for another hour and a half. So all of a sudden I started to be able to focus, and so I suggest this highly, and I think many of us will start to get organized that way. So keep in mind that Capricorn is still having their little fingers and all of that. They're still holding a control, and this is going to last until the 21st. And then you're going to get a taste of how it feels like Saturn being in Aquarius. So this is a general energy, soulmate. This is a soulmate. But I didn't really feel it as direct energy unless some of you here at the same time had this question, because you guys, I'm connecting with your energies. You're responsible for the reading. So it's kind of like people say, well, how is this? Like, you're catering to all these millions of people. Well, yes, but these people, anybody who gets here is like somebody who needs to get this message, or somebody who is cross-watching is sending the message through this channel to somebody they want to communicate. So this is something that has been either sent to somebody or is basically telling us to connect. But I didn't really feel when I got this card out that we are connecting with somebody outside. More or less, I felt that we are connecting with ourselves, if this really makes sense, right? So I really, guys, feel there's like not much to worry about this coronavirus. You know that I don't do health readings, so that's why I'm not going to do this. But wash your hands 20-30 times a day. Make sure that you wash your hands for at least 30 seconds. And this means like really washing your hands, like every tip of every finger, and that's going to clean most of it. And like my dad yesterday, I had to go through instructions with him, and the instruction was, you need to wash your hands. And what he does, done. I said, no, And then also what he does, he first drops his groceries, he taps everywhere, and then he goes and wash his hands. I said, no, you take your shoes off, you take your coat off, you wash your hands, then you dislodge all the groceries. But I touched the bags already. Never mind. When you finish with the groceries, you're going to wash them again, and then you're done. So, I mean, come on. Mind you, he's going to be 77, so it's a little bit different situation. He's more susceptible, but it is what it is. So, Pisces, happy birthday. Happy birthday to Pisces. So let's see what we can say for you. This is again going to be about 5 minutes per sign at the most, and I will go with this. Well, Chris also deciding not to catch it. This is also good because then you don't go into panic mode, and panic mode generally oh, that's a happy birthday. Oh, I'm dumping you. It's your birthday. I'm dumping you. What is this? And I think this is it. Again, you have some. Do you have any Pisces here? What's this? Holy smoly. This is crazy. This Virgo is messing the hell out of you. You are all over the place. You're feeling stuck. Look, we don't have any water coming out here. Let me see. What the heck? What the heck is going on? Trust. And trust is what I was telling you. Like, you're the sign of trust. And you're like operating on that principle. There's like somebody here around you who is not trustworthy. Look, you have this like 2 8s. This is almost like, and there is this Capricorn conjunction. Something is really messing you up. You might be involved with 1 or 2 partners. I can see extras here. Absolutely, I can see extras. This card also sometimes suggests exes and people who have ability to mix your life, even though technically they are not part of your life. So let me see this camera. Can I make it a little better? And you know, OCD, that's the Virgo in me. And I do have a Virgo in my chart. I was even, oh, you sound like Virgo, as if this is kind of a bad thing, being organized. So this shows up with these people who are sisters, brothers, parents, exes, people who have not even agenda, but their structure, their life is so strong that they feel they can somehow add their 2 cents. I have a neighbor who is like, you have to do this, you have to do this, like a Scorpio. So thinking that it's kind of like somebody who's lacking introspection, or people with low emotional intelligence, right? That kind of stuff usually shows up in this card, where somebody's like so forceful, they feel very strongly what you're doing is wrong, which, hey, you have to assess it if they're right or not. If you think they're really wrong, then you have to learn how to deal with such personality, right? So hi Tatiana, my boyfriend's birthday, is it today or something? That's really interesting, because look what we see here. 8s are generally to me showing when I see some kind of commitment of some sort. So this dude is here, he's standing up, but he's looking that way, and this guy's looking at this dude and saying, okay, so guy, man or a woman, this is a general reading. The situation is calling for you to have faith, to trust. So somebody's looking at somebody, and there is the third party over here, guys, really clearly showing somebody cannot get out of the situation. And this is not necessarily third party where it's the cheating taking place. It could be that somebody's separated and that somebody's like in a tricky situation, and because we are in Mercury retrograde, the things are like pulling up from the past, and this whole kind of like solidity that we want to have and build our future keeps on not happening. Somebody's pulling the rug underneath our feet. These combinations I don't like, but together they're coming into justice card vibration. And this is really talking about maybe the law being involved over here. So this is almost like a nightmare for you, and that's what full moon does it to you. Did I not tell you in the beginning, if you're born during this kind of transit, this is not only for a few days, it's for a freaking lifetime. So welcome to my world, Pisces. So now maybe you're going to have a little bit more compassion for me, a compassionate sign. So this is also giving you advice how to proceed forward. that you really need to look in the details. And this is not you're saying, oh, look at this scarf and look at this can make a really nice dress, I'm just going to wrap it around me. But then you go on the stage, or you kind of do to the event that you go, and then everything starts to fall apart. I used to party when I was younger with a girl who is Pisces, and it was just like that. She would just glue certain things together before we would go out, and she kind of like really enjoyed this life of imagination, this life of stuff, because you guys rule Hollywood. But now Hollywood is like meeting a lab, and so you're getting either a crime movie, right, or crime drama, or you're getting some kind of like SARS. And what was like that movie? Look, I'm not capable of remembering titles. Chinatown, right? Which was like Michael Douglas movie, I believe, where you kind of like have this like all these outbreaks and etc. going forward. I want to see what is this Three of Swords. I don't want to leave you hanging, because it feels like somebody's stuck here, feels somebody either cannot communicate or cannot get out of some situation. As I said, there's prescription over here. Look in the details, move really slowly and see what's going on. Yeah, look at third party. Somebody is jealous over here. Somebody thinks that things shouldn't move forward. I really feel that somebody is under impression or saying, look, things happen too many times and things are going to continue to happen. We are reaching this kind of like catch-22 situation, and if this continues the way it's happening, we shouldn't move forward. So somebody's like that clinical, while somebody else is saying, painting this big dream, and somebody's saying poof. So you're like meeting almost like resistance, and everybody's feeling that resistance, both those who are very creative and those who are not. But because of the support of Capricorn, the solidifying Pisces, and it's sextiling that sun, it's going to be that really you Pisces, you need to persist. You need to continue moving forward. And the reason for that is like you actually have the fortitude to move forward. So Virgo is telling you this is how you need to do it, because that Eight of Pentacles is clearly Virgo showing up. It's telling you, I am a tool. You need to use me as a tool. You need to come down to the earth, kind of like see if you're using the right measurements to create this coronavirus flu vaccine. We need your creativity. I need you to kind of like think in different directions and unheard of directions, because that's what's going to get us somewhere. But you also need to go through this process, the steps and testing and double testing. So that's what's going to be important here to know, Pisces. So I said Virgo will be going next. So Virgo, let's check your reading over here. Virgo, hey Anita, hello, how are you? Hello, hello, look at this triple Aquarius over here. Actually, Kylie, did you know that no kid got it? And that's what is puzzling me. That's why I went into conspiracy thing, because it's usually very young kids and very old people. They have no immune system, and that's why they usually get this and they die, because there's like nothing to create these antibodies. But interestingly enough, kids didn't get it. That's where I get very suspicious. So Virgo, there you go. Ace of Cups, lovey-dovey. Somebody's really, really lovey-dovey over here. And then you have a Queen of Pentacles, and that's also Capricorn. And then you have like Seven of Cups over here. You didn't have like that onset of bleh. You see, like Pisces even gets that in their cards, like all over the place, right? And Virgo, if you're just checking this timestamp, I suggest you go to the beginning of today's live, a second minute or so, when I start to explain a full moon in Virgo, because that's going to be very, very pertinent to you. You're also ruled by Mercury, and this is making this entire situation a little bit more complex for you. So let me just see over here. Children. It says your love life is being affected by children. And then you also have this Queen of Pentacles. This is actually lovely reading, Virgo, over here that I see. So Queen of Pentacles generally in tarot is Capricorn. So and my cards are still crooked, so I'll try to see if this is going to improve. Then I have to wait. This is almost like all painting. I just make a move and then I have to wait for 2 minutes to see it on the screen how it looks like. But anyhow, children can be literally children. It can talk about something is happening, you have to take time off, somehow that kind of like is derailing you, right? And there you go, I moved and it didn't help at all. Okay, so let's move it a little bit more, like this, and like this, and see how this is going to happen. So, Queen of Pentacles being in your sister sign Capricorn, and I love Queen of Pentacles. I absolutely see myself also as one. So whenever it's in the reading that I'm doing for myself, I would identify with this queen, not so much with Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords will be me if you really, really tick me off. Really, really, really. Okay, so it's getting better in terms of how the cards are positioned. But Queen of Pentacles is somebody who says, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do to pay my bills. This is what I need to do to be healthy. This is what I need to do to communicate with my family. It's that organizing, writing spirit. But because she's so organized, she gives and creates that space where she can actually have more time mostly to interact with those she loves. So she's very giving. She also likes to create something even out of nothing. So for example, Queen of Pentacles will be the thrift shop diva. So I actually like to pick up old furniture and refinish it. I like to create different things, and she's like capable of creating so much. She will be packing lunches for the kids and making sure everybody is okay. So something is really happening that is really, really good. So 7 and 1 is 8. Again, is a commitment coming through. Or some of you might be feeling ready to move forward. Maybe some of you had children and didn't date. Maybe some of you had to deal with some children issues and didn't date. But children to me also talks about inner child. And inner child is like something that becomes louder and louder the older we get, right? So sometimes we need to take obligations to step in big shoes way too early in life. And maybe we are really happy at that stage to do that because, you know, grown-ups are doing that. But later in life, we realize we have been missing that piece, or if we didn't get the love the way we really wanted, it's something that we crave, this somehow manifests in our relationships, right? So that inner child needs to be expressed, needs to be heard, and needs to be nurtured, right? And Queen of Pentacles is all about nurturing. And this is now water falling on this earth. It's like now we are having everything is getting together properly. Now, I also see very much Virgo-like attitude, because this card is generally would be more Pisces. It's about dreaming. It's kind of like going in all directions. What do I want? Do I want to meet a new person? Are people going to cheat on me? Like, do I want a power? Do I want accolades? Do I want money? Do I want houses? But here, the clarity is reached. You are realizing the price you need to pay when you're going in all directions. Dreaming is good, and this is what the Pisces period has been giving to you. With this full moon in Leo, you're becoming clear on what you need to do, or maybe you needed to feed that inner child with something or come to some kind of breakthroughs. So really nothing here to clarify for you guys, so keep a good work. If you are on a dating scene and you want to meet somebody, somebody will arrive. Somebody will be there who will be very much to what you hope for, very much who's going to have a good balance between bringing this, you know, butterflies in the stomach, but also not being too fluffy, because this is not your taste. Somebody who is, I mean, you'll find it interesting, but you'll say, nah, that's not for me. You have more to be a friend than being kind of like somebody that way. And Capricorn, let's see what is the solidity that you bring, bringing over here. So let's see that. Capricorn, you're next. And let me just catch up here. Just a quick sip of coffee. Oh my goodness. Is Capricorn going to be doing something with Virgo or with Aquarius or with Leo? Capricorn, this is strange. It's almost like you're going to be a little bit of a yo-yo this particular week. And you got 2 cards. Reconciliation and unrequited love. And this is exactly how that's felt. And I was like, which way are we going? Are we going forward and are we going backward, right? So 1 step forward, 1 step backward. That's more or less how it's going to be. So it says, someone from your past is returning to your life. And then it says, there is not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. On my other decks, I just scratched this all off. So I'm keeping this deck intact because apparently now these are like $300 or something if you want to buy them because they're not published anymore. So when the Aquarian, you may have been waiting for someone, and this can be Aquarius or can be just like simply an air sign. So we have air, we have water, and we have fire. All of that can apply if you are thinking about somebody from these signs. And what's going to be happening over here is that you feel that somebody did let you down. You felt somebody maybe led you down the garden path and it was like nothing there. Just come and see, and then it's nothing. Or you didn't find that something can bear fruits out of that connection, out of that relationship. But this didn't stop you of trying to connect with this person. This didn't stop you. Like this reconciliation, when it happens with people that we have unfinished business, that there is like enough connection to push you forward to kind of go and meet the same people, but nonetheless it's not necessarily something that is like a long term. For you, maybe somebody from the past. After all, we are still in our Mercury retrograde for 3 more days. If you haven't already, it almost like felt to me when it fell down on a table, it is like past, present, and future versus this weekly that I usually read, right? So it almost looks like that you really, really wished upon a star in the past for something or somebody to come back. And you guys tell me what you think. And then somebody maybe did come back. Maybe that was some kind of a change. Maybe certain things are happening or will be happening this week. And then you're going right back to realization, well, you know, this is either too much fight, because this is showing this warrior, the warrior that is bruised and injured, and he's not sure if he actually needs to proceed and how to proceed. And he's reversing here, so he's saying, what the heck? You win, kind of a thing, right? It's just kind of like it gets to that point, because unrequited love is like, you're saying to yourself, and you're a very pragmatic sign, right? You saw the chart. You're also going through this full moon, and this is also connecting to Virgo being a 9, right? You're saying to yourself, okay, it was lots of investment. Maybe you felt you put lots of hope, you put lots of time, you put lots of energy for minuscule results, and kind of like you're looking into that. Others of you will have a connection that is going to fizzle out somehow this week. In terms of how you're going to feel, you're actually going to feel quite good this week. You're going to feel optimistic, and that's why that even worries me more, because then when something turns out you can feel that is really not working out, you might feel a little bit disillusioned, right? So let me see, Chris, let me just see this. Chris is saying, I've been waiting for a Libra with a lot of water in her chart who ghosted me to return. Definitely a past life connection. Well, yeah, and when this card reconciliation shows up, I also want to make it clear, it doesn't have to identify the person that you know. How sometimes it works that this whole soul migrates and goes in another person, so you meet the same person in a new body. But I wanted to get a clarity over here. So yes, there is a somebody over here, a man or a woman. So we have consolation, we have sweetheart, and we have cheerfulness, right? So this is kind of like getting something that is completely undeserved. This is like almost like winning lottery. That's why he's showing up, hey, you want a power, you want a money? I'll give you both. What the heck? I don't want to carry it back, kind of a thing, right? So he is here reading a note, but oh my gosh, these cards are so freaking perfect to apply to today's world, because Whenever you are anywhere, in a dog park, on a streetcar, you see people looking down on their phones. It's just like, psh, right? And by the way, phones can give you coronavirus. Did you know that? You're touching them a lot and touching something else, touching it, like the paying interact, paying debit with the touching. That what most people forget, so keep that in mind. And here I have cheerfulness, and we have here some kind of situation. So something is here turning around. Maybe you're feeling that there's like no point of investing, and that this person is maybe happy with somebody else. Virgo also can give lots of self-esteem, bring lots of self-esteem issues that are coming to the surface. And I really think by the end of the week, you're going to say it's done, put a fork in it, I'm moving over. Or you might actually contact this person who might, again, I mean, this Chris, to your point, to your question, this person is somebody who will ghost you, right? Who might actually come and say and give you this hope initially, and then you go, oh, nice. And you contact somebody being very, I guess, iffy. If you shouldn't, then you contact them and go, oh, hey, where have you been? I was just thinking about you. I was so busy. So they give you this false hope. This card is just to do this all over again. That's kind of like a thing that sometimes we have to deal with. So that's kind of like Capricorn people that you're dealing with. What's a tiger? Somebody's walking around? How dare they? How dare they walk around? So let's go. Who will I do next? Thank you, Annette. Just like my reading ring. Like I wore so many out, and then I wanted to order a few more, and then they really came bad. That's what happens when you're ordering in China, that kind of stuff. So who do I do next? I will do Scorpio next. Scorpio. No, Violet, I didn't do Libra. Just doing randomly. Scorpio, what's going on? There's like some kind of like juggling thing over here, and we have this confirmation here. So this card is like either life is kind of like getting very tricky at this point, that things really need to be done or accomplished, right? Everything is up and down. It almost like feels like you win some and then you right away lose some. But this can also talk about having some issues with people around you, so which can be as simple as being issue with people that you have a relationship with, or it can simply mean that you're really dealing with a third party situation over here. And like sometimes people just remarry, they live their life. You would tend to think from the outside, well, what you're talking third party, but they always have to coordinate. It's always that shadow. It's always an ex-wife. It's always the ex-husband. There are always children. There are always issues. And like I'm thinking, okay, so what have I done in my life that I'm always like a secondary here, right? Flirt. So there are like some good news, there's some bad news. I also see this 8 here. 2 and 6 is 8, right? But we also have 3. So now we have 11. So we have both commitment and justice over here. So this can talk about some kind of breakups here, I'll be honest with you. And it could be because somebody is stepping out of relationship, as I said, or you're discovering some kind of like third-party connection. The World card is one of my karma cards. It's something that is happening right now. It's very intense, right? So you have Aquarius, you have Scorpio, you have Taurus, you have Leo over here showing up. So when this card shows up in reverse, it is really talking about something that you badly want, something that you badly wish, not happening. It's so strong, you really feel I'm going to push it through, and not only doesn't push through, but people really push back. And so there is like some expectation that I feel that you have, and you're going to be actually very lighthearted. Hi, Sapphie. You love Scorpio? Huh? How much? Can they change? Can they change their tangent this week? No? Can you help them change it? No. Miss Sapphie was sick last week and I figured out what it was. Miss Sapphie was chewing on plastic bags. She likes the crunchy flavor, and the crunchy flavor ended up in her little tummy, so she would just come and puke all over the place, and luckily she got that plastic bag out, and Mommy took all the bags, and we're not going to be eating them anymore because that can be more deadly than coronavirus. So I think Sapphie is coming here to say about this lighthearted attitude, about that flirty attitude, about simply being present, which kind of shows here. The World card is also being right here and right now. It is really important about pushing. This karma is still continuing. Something is still not resolved. Something still needs to be addressed. This is why, after all, here he has the scale and he is measuring how much he gives. So maybe you have been giving things out. Maybe there is like some kind of out of balance. Be very careful to kind of like really observe your own behavior. Are you doing things that are creating imbalance? Are you the ones trying to be either a pushover or you're like too much? So whenever this imbalance is created, not only that we have the scale here, but we have this hidden kind of like justice over here that would also connect with this card. We are specifically talking about female Scorpios, more in particular, we'll have to say. This because this card also connects to the Empress card. And so, but even if you're male, it can also talk about the connection that you might have like with these female Scorpios, right? So either or that you are like discovering your feminine side. So just want to see what is this all about and why is this the World reversed over here. Very hard to leave when he is narcissist. No, actually it's not hard to leave. It's hard to make this decision because they always know that they have to give a bite enough for you to stay. But when they're narcissist, you have to understand that what your role is. And I mean, that's probably I should post it on my other channel. When one person is a narcissist, another person is a food. So you're literally being chewed on by them. So you have to ask yourself if you are comfortable being a food. If you're not comfortable being a food, you literally have to put a boundary where they will try one of the two ways to kind of like diminish it. Either they will be pleading with you and be very nice to you for a while until they feel secure, or they'll be brutal. Well, if you see them as brutal, then don't think that you did something wrong, even though they'll be gaslighting you. You simply you block them. You don't pick up any message for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, until you're stronger. And if they're very nice toward you, you're very clear. This is exactly how it's supposed to be. And the moment you're not like this, we're going to go back to where we are, and then we will not be trying this. So, but it takes strength. It's not easy. It's really hard, and I understand. So if you need to contact me for coaching, I kind of like specialize in codependency and in narcissism, and it's really hard. People with very healthy self-esteem get hooked up, and you tangle up. You just imagine somebody covered you in a rope and they're throwing you in the bottom of the lake. You can be all healthy and you can be very athletic, but you're tangled up. You need to kind of like to find a way out of it. So you guys have hope, which is great. Then you have widower. So this is like that essence of some kind of loss. Something is still very painful, but it's also giving you remedy. Constancy over here is saying, look, Rome was not built in a day, and you just need to take one step at a time. She is rebuilding herself, and ultimately by rebuilding herself, she is also rebuilding the life. Do not invest into things and people that are not showing returns. Look at this. Look at how many basically pentacles like you have. So you really need to be very grounded. Gotta go to the next sign. I was supposed to just do it for an hour and I just can't, so which is really great for you. But it is time to have my Virgo moments, to have my lunches right on time. So that was Scorpio. So let's do, I don't know, Taurus next. Somebody asked. So Taurus. 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 Oh, Barbie's saying doors. So Barbie is the boss of the chat. So we are going to do doors. And let me just hide this away from you here so I can shuffle some deck, and I need to find the deck first. So there you go. Now I feel safe to grab any deck, and I'm going to get Morgan Greer over here from my stash and a cup of coffee. You guys focus on your question. Think about it. You imagine, close your eyes and imagine you're connecting to me, but more or less to your guides that are most likely here, and ask them to send you something that you will recognize for a fact. That's the answer for you. For the people on the chat, if you feel comfortable sharing your question or even a gist of it, I will be able to clarify that for you after this reading. So sip of the coffee. And I'm shuffling. Okay, shuffling. I have a door number 1. I have door number 2. And I have a door number 3. Let me see. There we go. So guys, let's see what and who asked for what. So the door number 1 over here. Let's see, somebody's dealing with Taurus. Will I get justice? And so the very first door is 5 of Cups reversed. And this is really tricky, because mostly like the answers here for this pick a card is like yes or no. But here we see that proverbial somebody's looking at the losses in his or her lives. And somebody's not looking at things that are already, that are still standing or still there, or possibly that can be developed. So this is reversing. Some people say when this reverses, somebody's coming back. So keep that possibility in mind. But I see now all cups leaving. So there's like going to be a need over here to be completely unemotional in order to reach the answer over here, because as long as you're emotional, this is not a path where you can win, because it's almost like you need to go in this like clinical stage and kind of like find what it is. So I would say this would be maybe or no, guys, over here. So doors number 2 over here is, we have a 6 of Pentacles. We had them right now in Scorpio reading. So this is like that card of measuring and giving and generosity. Maybe you're asking for something really nice. Maybe your question was like feeling comfortable and you wanted to feel relief from maybe financial situation, or maybe simply to know where your standing is in the world. Well, you're not ready. The situation is still boiling. This doesn't say necessarily no, but it's saying not right now. It's saying that things are not in balance, right? Because the scale cannot stand this way. Maybe somebody else is grabbing their share. Maybe somebody else is also talking behind your back and trying to scoop from you what you need, right? So that's what it is. So, and the door number 3 is 2 of Cups. So this most likely has been some kind of like issue in a relationship that maybe ended up not in a great way. So I would say over here that cannot happen. You're dealing with a person with whom maybe you have reached the dead end. You have reached things that for some reason you're not seeing eye to eye things. And relationships can only, and they're based on, well, the old-fashioned relationships are more or less that nuclear family, as they call it, where it was more or less what is good on the paper, And when you're having a older generation therapist, they will tell you to go back to what is good on the paper, but they are not taking into account that new generations are not looking at things that way. So this is not going to happen in that way. That's unfortunately so. Great. 3 negative cards, but hey, it is what it is. So anybody is asking a question about it, number 1, I had my cards came this week waiting for the investigating outcome. Will I get my money back? And Kylie, you got the number 3. I would say no. I would say somebody is going to present some kind of reasons or explanation that is, I don't see shaking hands over here. I just don't see it over there. So Violet, I'm Libra, always want them to come to me so I know they care. Okay. Okay, reach out to her, don't play the game, just say how are you. Oh, Violet, you're probably talking to somebody else, not to me. So mix this up. Let's kind of like clean this a little bit for the next round, because we'll have one more round, guys. Do not ask the same question for the next round, because if you do, it's just going to mess you up. And you know, sometimes you get yes, sometimes you get no, because they'll say, okay, you don't want to hear my answer, here it is. Like if you even have some divination systems, like I Ching, that's going to tell you, or runes, do not ask anymore. Literally, they threaten you. And if you continue asking, they will never give you answers. So that's kind of like one of those things that you might get an answer, but it's not going to be an answer that's going to be helpful. So now we are going to Taurus. Taurus. Number 2 was, if I remember, 6 of Pentacles reversed. So Taurus. Okay, Taurus, you're not selling yourself short, that I see. Could it be that you have been going through a period of flirting? Could it be that you have been going through some issues? Oh my goodness, I'm just drinking this coffee and I haven't seen it in a while. I just have to show you, Taurus, and this might be connecting to you. I started reading coffee when I was like very, very young, but I don't know if you can see here. So I can see a person here. This could be a scarf, it can be long hair, but it also can actually present a continent, and this can be some kind of like, almost like India, even though here that looks like North America to me. So it all kind of goes down to interpretation, right? So there is like a spring in the air on one side. On the other side, I see some kind of like a tree over here, and the tree that is like putting the roots down. And I also see, and I don't know if you can see it, a fish over here happening. And I don't know, I just noticed this, but this also can be some kind of like bird, like a peacock, like when I see it from the distance. So all these images are actually really part of your reading. And even a negative space, if I really look at it, this here looks like a big nose, and this here, it kind of looks like either like an old woman or as a child. So I can feel that here you might be dealing with somebody who is married. You might be dealing with somebody who you have big hopes for, and who you probably want to flirt, but you're also getting to the point of saying to yourself, ugh, this is freaking exhausting, and I'm a rock for this person. And why am I a rock for this person? Why people do not come to me with their issues resolved? Because to some extent you're feeling that things are on your back, that you are expected to do things, that you are expected to make concessions, right? At the same time, you're also expected to wait for something to be resolved. It says divine timing is in work in your love life. And guess why it is? It is because you're getting this wonderful card in the end. You're getting judgment. This is karma card. You guys are almost like maybe feeling that certain things should move forward, and they're not moving forward. One or another thing are coming in, and you're saying to yourself, okay, it's Mercury retrograde now. Okay, great. Now he broke his leg. Okay, now, like, I mean, his child is sick. It's always freaking something. It's like 2-3 years down the road. So this card shows up, and he says, no more. You're going to reach such immense clarity. It's going to be that sense of transparency and the sense of you getting in. It's like phew, the light bulb, proverbial light bulb kicks on, and you're saying, okay, this is what it is. I get it. This is your life, but your life is now messing my life. And I don't want to put you down. I don't want to call your life a mess, but I expect more from me moving forward. So maybe it's going to be easier for you to resolve your issues if you are not having me and all this stuff. Instead, you can focus on that. And you will see how quickly they're going to wake up, because this card is all about waking up. And this is card that where you cannot lie. You go before God, and pearly gates is there, and what you did, what you didn't do, it's right there. Also, certain things that you thought that you were bad, you know the big things, but maybe you don't know the small things and the small kindnesses that we do. And that's what most people forget. This paying forward is really important. I mean, you read those books, the spiritual books, and you know, it was the pearly gates, the soldier from Vietnam who had huge guilt of conscience, who shows up, and the little girl is waiting for him on the Rainbow Bridge, and he is like, who are you? I mean, like, he was expecting that he's going to get people who he killed and people who love him, like that's kind of concept, like human, like very simplistic. But it was this little girl who he didn't know who she is, and then he realized, oh my God, I have killed her parents and she's still here to welcome me. And that's where you get this overwhelming sense of release and understanding that something worse happened to her, and somehow in the big scheme of things she feels that he's the savior. It's kind of like where there's like this huge paradigm shift. So it's really good for you. It is really telling you you're coming in a really good place. You are soon going to realize that these juggling issues or these pressuring things or feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to let go of this, I have to let go, I don't want to make a big fuss out of it, all of a sudden is going to be so diminished. You're not going to see that as an issue whatsoever. Well, let me just get clarification. Yeah, knitting yogi, your ex is not your soulmate. I'm sorry to say this. Knitting yogi. So two eagles flying together yesterday. I knew it was. Oh, that's so cute. So we have frivolity, we have lover, and we have cheerfulness. It almost looks like somebody is playing two ends of the stick. Somebody is just being very lighthearted and maybe brushing over big, strong issues. You're a Taurus. You're not going to let them. You're going to say, what the heck? Are we going to get, down and greedy and going to just talk about this, or you're going to continue with the stories? It's interesting because nothing here is firm. It's like Pluto, we have water, we have fire. So maybe you're dealing with a partner with whom you had lots of fights, and you're now beyond these arguments and discussions and fights. You're just sitting and watching and seeing what happens. Maybe that's why it is as simple as that. All right, the next one, let's make it Aries. Aries. That means it's somebody new, meaning yogi. Yes, Aries. I think one thing flicked. Yes. I know, Aries, are you dealing with Scorpio or Leo? That can be something that could be a highlight over here. It sounds to me it's going to be a week. Yep. It's going to be a week where you're going to be spending time with your friends. And these connections are very important. This is also Pisces, and it's also Aquarian card of the transition. So this whole creativity and stuff can be affected. I also feel that you guys will have some issues at work. I feel it's somebody at work who maybe you thought is on your side. Maybe you thought, no, 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 totally, this person has my back. Especially if you're dealing with some situation when things are being questioned. It is going to be a little bit different right now. That you're going to actually realize that somebody actually is betraying you. But you're also going to realize that you haven't... it's almost like that maybe some kind of promise has been given and then retracted. That's kind of like how I feel. Because all of a sudden, something that you have dealt with, something that has been agreed with, is coming back for some reason. And it's coming back, and it's not necessarily exploding, but it's feeling like that maybe you're being attacked about that, that maybe you're being told about that. You know, like this Two of Pentacles, it showed up as the third card. It can mean about somebody juggling. It can mean somebody saying, somebody walking away, somebody saying, no, this has to stop how it was. So let me clarify this. In this card, it says someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. What is really striking to me, it says someone, and yet everybody's wearing a mask but the little cherub over here, right? So nobody is fully transparent. Nobody is fully displaying who they are. Everybody's like really dealing with this personality, with appearances. So personality is like what you get attracted to with a person, but then it takes 6 to 12 months before you kind of like manage to remove it and see who they are. Maybe this is where the stage is where you're entering, because remember, Pisces is all about masking. But somebody, as I told you, like my friend with whom I used to party when I was like younger, she would just slap things together and then they would start to unfold. So this also tells me that innocence and then approach with complete candidness, that's before we learn how to put these layers of masks, is kind of like solution. It's kind of like saying, look, you know, at some point you need to be also vulnerable. At some point you just like need to show things that you need to show, kind of a things, right? So what we have here, we have Widower and Priest and Letter. So these two cards are really interesting, right? It can connect. It can talk about some rules. This can talk about marriage. I think some of you possibly are dealing through cheating and dealing through, sorry to say, if that's happening. You were hoping and you have been promised that things are going to get better, and then you're finding more things, and this is like kind of like devastating you. And maybe you're asking your, you know, clergy to help you with this, to maybe deal with this. Some of you maybe have experienced recent loss of a partner, and maybe you're going through divorce. This is much more serious than I thought when I saw just tarot cards. It's going to be some kind of communication that is going to be in the three cards, but it looks to me it could be communication from a lawyer, it could be communication of something kind of like official, something that is really coming to an end. There is going to be something that's going to uncover certain things. So, oh boy, giving what Aries is and how you react to these things, I don't want to be that other person. Let me put it this way. So I'm sorry to hear this, Aries, but again, just keep it in mind. This is general reading. If you're dealing with something like this, I do advise personal reading. That can give you lots of insight. I mean, so let's see. I'm sorry, Violet. I'm so honest. I just like blurt things out bluntly without filter, and then I say, okay, I maybe really have to cushion this, because when people go through that, this sounds really harsh when you tell them. But at least it's like sobering effect. It's kind of like don't damage yourself more than has been happening. So Geminis, you have had so many clicks on my monthlies, so thank you for that. Appreciate that. So let's see what's happening with you, Kylie. Aries rising, this is happening external to me. So there you go. See the energies, and she's in Australia. She cannot whisper those things to me, but so freaking awesome. We have Europe, we have Australia, we have North America, we have like West Coast, we have East Coast. I absolutely love this. Okay, Gemini, what, you're shy today? Oh, there we go. The star, the world, the high priestess. What's wrong, Gemini? 3 reversed majors, and this is the karma major. So this represents Aquarius. This is representing this is talking about crescent moon. So there's like something that is brewing, Gemini, that that is going to start being very, very evident on 20, what is it, 23rd, I think, around the 23rd. On the 21st, you're going to start seeing certain things. So, okay, so for this week, let me backtrack. There'll be some issues this week that are going to be seeds of something that is happening. You are not going to get full impact, but things are brewing in the background. I have a student currently that is studying through my tarot school, and she says, no. So we communicate, right? So she said, I pulled this card justice, but I didn't think anything big happened, right? I said, just wait. That's the background card. That's why they're called my karma cards, because something is brewing, something in the background that is going to affect you. It's just proverbially, if you think of these black and white movies, somebody just pulled a chair and you're trying to sit and you just like miss it. That kind of stuff, that preparation, somebody is doing it over here. Guys, I really need to warn you that you need to watch who is around you. And this is even saying retreat. Oh my goodness, if somebody's going to get coronavirus, you guys are a good candidate. And it's telling you this retreat. And I said to myself before the reading, if this card shows up, I need to warn people, and I don't do the health reading. It's time to disconnect from the world. And then the world card shows up, right? It's talking about you guys probably had a really good ability to be intuitive, and maybe for some reason lately you haven't been intuitive, and you haven't been intuitive because that was like lots of frequency interruption. You were maybe dealing with lots of things, or maybe you were dealing with lots of people who were all over the place, or who maybe were not telling you the truth, and maybe kind of like got you off their back or of their path in a way that you still don't know. Like the star shows that you simply are, it was like something that was really meaningful and very important, and you have been very excited about that at one point, but for some reason you're feeling you are not able to understand who are people who are not good for you, or people or interests that are not good for you from the people who are good for you. In fact, you're doing the opposite. It's almost like this George Costanza thing. I don't know if you ever watched the Seinfeld, the episode where he says, well, I cannot get girl the way I'm going. Why don't you tell him just the worst things about me and see what happens? And then he did that, and the opposite of what he was doing, and everything started to work out. This is almost like how I would advise you to go about that, right? This is all coming to some sense of control, and it could be some kind of loss of control. It could be some understanding of the situation that is completely off. And that's why this is sending you to this retreat card, because even though it shows two people, generally to me it would mean one person. It would mean also disconnecting from everything, not rereading the same things, not reliving the same things, not trying to fit into the big hole, not trying to find this like one puzzle that is missing, but in fact trying to envision a completely new picture, a completely new approach to something. Because the world card means something needs to shift, and this is clearly not shifting. It's not shifting because you or somebody is like so strongly holding on some issues from the past, which is clearly talking about unfinished business, right? So we have consolation, but then we have sights, and then we have melancholy, right? In both of these cards we have the little kind of boat here right in the distance. If you really look at it, here he's just peacefully reading his newspapers, and then the angel appears, and the angel saying, hey, I'm giving you some money. How about that, right? Oh, freaking wonderful, right? Over here is the opposite. So it almost like feels like somebody's grabbing somebody's things because somebody else just feels a loss, and she just like put it on the ship that is maybe arriving here. So somebody is taking a benefit for either your work or for something that you did. So maybe you did something really nice and somebody's just like not giving you credit. And maybe you sacrifice yourself for a while, and not only you're not getting a credit, but you're being told, well, this is just normal, that kind of stuff. It's kind of like putting you in the situation which is not typical you, but that's, I can see it from everything. And melancholy is like that situation before depression, where nothing really enthuses you, nothing really that you want to do. So hence retreat is a good thing, because going in a state of meditation and reconnecting with the nature, connecting with your soul, being in the now and not kind of like going back in the past or in the future. I mean, I also have the energy healing, guys. Check it out on my website. That really kicks you really quickly out of that stage, right? It takes a little bit longer when you're more deeper, when you're in depression, or kind of like have some kind of like severe issues. Then it will take more repetitions, but this can be rather a quick fix. So just think about it this month. What is this? The YouTube is not receiving enough to maintain smooth meeting. Okay, it's receiving buffering. So now it's poor. We had the same thing the last time. That's weird. Because on one hand, I'm getting these notices that is saying, oh, the stream is higher. And then, which is good thing. So that means I have a really good internet connection. And then, like now it's streaming. Okay. They're going to go to jail shortly. Okay. That could mean that too. Okay, so who do I pick up next here? Because I still have a few signs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that I need to do. Let's go with Cancer. Cancer. So what is for Cancer for this week? Oh, CMK Gemini. We have King of Swords, we have Justice, we have Ace of Wands, we have 5 of Cups, and we have Soulmate card, 2 of Cups. For the divorce Cancers, I think somebody who was your mate is coming back, and then you will reunite with this person. Or you want to, or you'll be making plans to reunite with this person, because I do see here it was some kind of like a legal procedure. This was not just a simple, I mean, both of them are kind of like signifying the same. This is Karma card. This is actually a really lovely story. This really talks about somebody who didn't expect that, and something happened out of nowhere. And it's pretty much emphasizing this kind of like dreamy thing through the Pisces transition. It's going to be very surprising to you. It is safe for you to love, or it was somebody who you did not dare to proceed with, somebody who could have higher social status than you, or you felt I'm not good enough for them, or they felt they're not good enough for you. But it seems to me that you do know this person. It seems to me that you also dealt with some issues and some principles in the past, and hence you're not exactly the same person. You're now stronger. You can do it. Oh my gosh, this is actually lovely. This is literally what, and it's so good for Cancer. Sometimes you shy away because you said, this is just too much for me. I cannot handle. But look at this. It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Now, guys, sometimes how this really works is that you get a different person who shows up, but who has something is going to remind you of somebody who you loved very much, or somebody who was extremely important to you at one point. This can go all the way back when you were playing in the sand. But it's going to be so strong that the deja vu kind of a thing, right? Or something from your dreams. And it's going to give you that sense and feeling of comfort, right? Or it could be something that you kept starting with somebody and didn't go somewhere. It was always something coming in the way. But this card and this card together clearly talk about somebody coming back, or some issues are coming back, but they're like getting resolved in a really nice and positive way. If you're completely single, you'll be bumping into somebody who, and the old partner doesn't come through. maybe Facebook contacts will, hey, how are you doing? Or you might reach out, and this actually is going to go down this path to being like really, really happy, right? So don't you just sit and wait and wait and wait for somebody to knock on your door. That happened to me as well. Actually, a postman knocked on my door, and we kind of like flirted for a while, and then months or later my phone rings and he said, well, I was a student, kind of like replacement for the regular carrier, and da 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 da. So we went out, and well, we really didn't date, but like, I mean, started to be part of my social circle. So you never know where you can meet people. So this is actually a lovely Cancer. There's like nothing to confirm here. Very happy with this. You will be very happy with this, and there's like really nothing to really worry. So Barbie is saying we are going back to doors, and we can do the same thing. So guys, more or less think about a yes or no question. So let me cover it up over here. All right. So door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. What the heck is this? I've got too many cards now. Let's start this again. Door number 3. Okay, so let's remove this. So let's see who picked what. Your dog clicked on it. That's hilarious. Maybe he heard a tiger barking over there in the background. Mel, this is a big week. Oh, I need to put that timestamp because I always forget this. Pick a thing, right? So, all right. So door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. So door number 1, if you pick this one, you're getting the Magician reversed. Now, this is a very tricky card, literally. We are dealing a Pisces transit, which is all about magic. But this Magician per se is representing Mercury in tarot. So Mercury magic, it's something very murky, something that might not work out the way we want, or it might work out. You know what they say, beware what you wish for, you might get it. This is what this card means. So be very, very careful, because you might miss the signs. So just pay attention to the signs. Don't get yourself involved in something weird. The Magician always delivers, but the Magician is always a bachelor. So if you were asking a question about long-term possibility or something can create a spark, something can start happening, but it's not, maybe not going to be built on solid grounds, which means somewhere in the future you can expect the Tower card to show up. So just saying, right? So let me see. The number 2, I got a few cards, and I'm even seeing a question, should I start a business? So King of Pentacles reversed, 4 of Pentacles, and then Temperance. So you need to ask yourself, so I'm going to answer this first, Ekat's question, and she said, should I start a business? You need to understand it is going to be very costly. Starting a business is a big investment, and people don't spend money unless they want the money to somehow come back to them in some way, shape, or form. Since this is clearly talking about business, it's really talking about that you need to find proper mentors. You need to possibly find and locate a client before you start a business. This talks about guarding your resources, being very, really careful. But this is ultimately saying this is a positive outcome. So generally, same thing. General reading is you might be asking this question about somebody, and there's like this guarded approach. Maybe somebody is not calling, maybe somebody is not coming back, maybe somebody is like just dealing with their own issues. This 4 of Pentacles is like about somebody stingy, somebody who is not willing to share. So if your question was about connection with someone, I would say that, the best right now is to disconnect, because they are going to start understanding that they are not the ones being chased. And this card is extremely positive. Temperance is saying that by the end of this week, you are kind of reaching this realization that things are that way for a reason, that you need to find something out. Temperance is generally gluing to impossible things, something that cannot be fixed, something that you think is beyond repair. So this also can be a dude that is married, that forgets to say that he's married, and he acts really, really in a weird way. And maybe you wanted to take it further. Maybe he's just ghosting you. Maybe he's promising you things. And then your realization was, hey, you know, I got saved. I dodged a bullet. So this is kind of like weird because it's going to take lots of persistence, and sometimes if this is relating to business, the persistence will pay off as long as you pay attention to the details. However, on the personal level, this might not be the case. It more or less will be realization of something good happening through, right? So, and the door number 3 over here is Ace of Rods and Wheel of Fortune. Yes and yes. Do I need to explain here? So you're getting something from the past. You're asking me about something that is already happening. You're asking me about something that maybe you already tried before, and maybe you had some success, but maybe it really didn't end the way it's supposed to end. And then Wheel of Fortune, and again, the justice is on your side. If you tried these things before, maybe you're saying to yourself, oh, I'll be stupid to try this again. But no, actually this is saying this is going to move forward. It's going to really, really work well, and work well in a very productive way. Wheel of Fortune is telling you, like, pretty much you're in the zone, things are moving forward, etc., etc. Do I mentor? Well, I do have a few mentees, I do have to say. You need to send me an email and we can talk about that. So, well, all of you here can be mentored as well. Good morning, Eve. Libra. Oh, Tarek. Well, you know what? Let's do Libra next, since she just, you see, the signs. Follow the signs. So let's do Libra next. Unless somebody really wants clarification on the houses. Ooh, I like those big check marks. I like that. And Barbie is Libra, guys. Don't you forget. All these my regulars are always here. Helps the newbies to kind of like explain them how things are going around here when I am reading. But don't forget Barbie. She is the one doing all of the stuff, running the show, and she's the one who posed the pins. So, yay! Big round of applause for Barb. Okay, so let's do that. Libra, the Emperor. Wow, it's lovely. You guys deal with Aries, possibly? You guys are going to be very domineering this particular week. You are kind of like organizing things and events to kind of like, look at this, you have 2 9s. This is that full moon in Virgo. This full moon in Virgo is going to give you some kind of insight. And interestingly, you have 2 9s, you have 2 7s. And guess, 9 and a 7 is 16. Guess what is 16? The Tower card. Isn't this lovely? And 16 and 16 is 32, so 36. It's 3 and 6 is 9. Again, we are going to this full moon. This full moon can be very tense, but it's going to tell you more about things that you must not do than about things that you need to do. So don't, first of all, my big suggestion is stay away from any drinks, any alcohol, because that can create lots of problems, because you're still in the Mercury retrograde. You guys might have transportation issues. You guys might have, hopefully not, an accident. You guys might have communication kind of like cross. Maybe you're going to say the word that you're not supposed to say, and that's sort of like, right, just at the very least wait for after the 16th. That's 16th or 23rd will be better. There's like something that I'm feeling here. There's like emotion, but on the positive side, you guys are going to start feeling more firm and more organized. And I mean, this is again that Virgo card, the positive parts and negative parts. So it's a whole bunch of things, and that's possibly because of your dual nature, Libra, because you're always wagering, you're always seeing two different things happening. So saying, well, maybe this way, maybe this way. And then the problem is like you always regret the decision you take. And this is telling you, you're actually not going to regret. You're going to be extremely clear where you go and how you go and why you go. It's interesting that I'm seeing honeymoon, and I'm actually not seeing much happening in terms of relationship over here. It says enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. Maybe simply there's like nothing problematic. Maybe simply you need to rebalance things inside of you and seeing, being more realistic. This can also add to it, because look at this, 7 and 4, the cards are mirroring each other. They're actually coming up to 11. This is your card. So you are ensuring that certain elements are met. If this is in a relationship, maybe this is what you're exploring, because honeymoon card is not necessarily the card that talks about being in love. Sorry, it is a card that talking being in love but not loving. The difference is like this can be deceptive. This is like you're still seeing a mask of the person. You're still seeing what the person is presenting you. But this is telling me that you're going to have that sobering experience where you're going to just say, that's really who you are. So maybe somebody's like really nice, dresses well, but they don't tip. Right? So that stinginess or inability to understand how the world works, and that you need to kind of do that and take care of that, because ultimately something else is going to take care of you. You're going to realize this whole, process, this feeding chain, if you want to call it. So it can be with coworkers and family, right? It can be simply that could be some emotional issues that you need to deal with. Some of you, you're seeing a therapist or a coach, and they're advising you, and it's going to be one of those breakthroughs this week. This is really good card to get, especially if you're going through numerological year number 4. If you guys don't know which personal numerological year you are, just send me an email with your name and your date of birth, and I will send it back to you for free, so no worries about that. So you guys are going to have an enjoyable week, but it's going to be lots of, and most people forget about Libra. Most people forget because you appear to be almost like Pisces, romantic and flirty, but they forget that you're Libra, you're air, and it's like, don't mess with me. You're like looking at people like x-rays, and they think you're one big fluffy putty cat, and you're a big fluffy putty cat with x-ray vision, and you know everything about them. They're sitting and saying nothing, and you're seeing a big sign flashing, and you will know what's going to come out. And that's where people make a big error when it comes to Libra. So it's going to be really, really strange over here, that you will be getting these messages and kind of like making decision not to do something as a result. So that's kind of how it's going to be. So the next is Leo, and let's see, because we have the mini Leo on the table. Let's continue with that. Right, Sapphie? Miss Sapphire? Do you love me? I love you very much. The best. The best. Yeah. You're a mini lion. I know. Can I just get the cards for Leos? Yeah. Okay, Leo. Where is your buddy tiger? She loves to play with my dog. Oh my god. Like they are becoming buddies, and he's chasing her everywhere around. Kylie, enjoying this time to myself, focusing my health and well-being. That's really, really good. So seeing 111, this is connecting to the fact 1111 that you need to stabilize yourself. You need to find your own path. So it's very, very important. You're welcome, my dear. Leo, you have King of Swords, which could be, I don't know, Aquarius, Libra, air sign. It could be something, look at that. Ace of Pentacles, and you have Strength, which is your card. And again, I'm seeing this full moon over here. Maybe this full moon is bringing you to some conclusion, because this Ace of Pentacles reverse means you're not moving in some kind of long-term decision with someone or something, and yet you're very happy about that. Yet you kind of like really feel Look, let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. I don't know, did you guys go through some kind of challenging situation in the past that needed to have legal involvement of some sort, and maybe that was severed? Because King of Swords is very positive, but whenever he shows up, he has a sword, right? He has the sword. So where is he applying the sword? He's applying the sword to this Ace of Pentacles. So Ace of Pentacles is a lovely card, but not when it's reversed. So why did you sever something that was really lovely? It must have been lots of reasons. It must have been those reasons that you needed to have your friends, maybe, you know, people who wish your well-being, to step in and do that. So this really tells me that maybe somebody was promising a world, and instead of the world, you got nothing. You got babkus kind of a thing, right? Right, Debbie? And this card is absolutely positive. It's really telling me that you are stabilizing, you are understanding now, like that this being out of balance is over, right? Because he can also talk about trying to reposition things. Strength is also telling me that you are, and I don't know, simply because you've been through Aquarius transition, which makes you really weak. That's axis that now we are dealing Virgo and Pisces. You are regaining your strength, and it's really telling that you are going to get feed from lots of your friends who will be really helping you restabilize and find this like new focus, right? So that is what is really, really important, right? So this is about Ace of Pentacles, consolation and waiting and reunion. And you have been waiting on someone for maybe a reunion. You wanted to, it kind of like when consolation is here, it feels like you wanted to win. And usually this also card shows up when things really get out of hand, when we really feel, oh my gosh, I need this intervention, I need something from the outside for things to really work out better, right? You maybe didn't already receive some help, but I would say that some people were there for you. There was like something that you really wanted long term. Clearly, a return of a lover. This could be somebody who is Aquarius or air sign, or that somebody with whom you maybe had, I don't know, a separation or divorce, that you were hoping that things are going to work out anyhow, that things are going to get better. It's really telling me that you need to completely focus on yourself and not on those wishes. It looks like those wishes are being cut off, and it looks like even if they come through, for some of you it might come through that you are like literally waiting for somebody, on somebody to make their decision, and it's going to come. I mean, these three cards are really good glued together, but they're like coming as a description of a card that is telling you it's a dead end street. So if you get somebody coming back this particular week, then ask your friends to go out and have a coffee with you and this person, or lunch. They're going to be able to make this assessment and give you their honest feedback. Just ask a friend who is able to be honest. You don't want beating around the bush, and you don't want them to reinforce what you want to hear. And that's exactly going to be the point. Otherwise, just go with whatever you want. Things are going to work out for you this week. I just want to say that if things come back from the past, be a little bit skeptical before you give your commitment, because this is also a card of commitment, right? Or you might hear about somebody committing, and maybe this is why certain things you don't want to push forward. You don't want to go in that direction for one reason or another. Well, it will be really good to hear from you. You have your card here, which means you're going to be in charge. You're going to feel comfortable reaching this decision, right? So there you go. We have people who have divorced their aquas, etc. So Aquarians can be, we can be very difficult partners. I'm telling you, I would not recommend myself as a great partner, because I can be the most sociable person and people finally get used to me, and then I need to be for myself, by myself for 2 years, and it's shocking to the other people. So I feel for you people. But you see, I still come here every week, and I'm here with you. So Saggies, how about you, Saggies, being next? And that's only because I don't want to make Aquarius. I don't want you to hate Aquarius if I take Aquarius first. So let's see. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Well, unbalanced people, MK, are always around us. We get to be unbalanced from time to time. There's like nothing, I guess, to fret about that, right? And guys, did you like it? How come I have 24 viewers and only 16 likes? What's up with that? What's up with that? Come on. Barb, you're not taking your whip, your Libra whip out. Ooh, look at that. Queen of Cups. You guys will be flirting. What is this? If you're flirting, why is this a war? Maybe you're dealing with somebody who is a water sign. Well, it looks like there is a situation here because it's kind of like weird how disconnected this is, right? Release your ex. Because this is also about three-party situation card where somebody feels, I'm such a winner. You know, you win. Let's say you have two roommates and you go out and beat the crap out of them because it was a boxing game, and you come home and you celebrate. Yeah. Do you think these people are not going to get back to you one way or the other? So this is a temporary Pyrrhic victory where people are celebrating victory. It's a victory nonetheless, but unless you do some really sudden and swift changes, kind of like seeing how things are from their standpoint, which I see it here, you are lacking to do that, they will turn on you. They will really turn on you. There's like also somebody here, right? I think this was reversed, which is really telling me that somebody is already turning on you. They're like somebody in the past, or this is a prominent person in your life, which is dealing with this full moon to me. It says release your ex. We do see this full moon over here. The time has come to clear your energy. You are holding something on your soul, on your conscious. There is like some essence over here that needs to be released, or you are holding an ex who has been detrimental to you, that it was really hard for you to move forward. Maybe you ended up being on the receiving end of some people who grouped against you. So it can be either that or the other. The Hangman means you also want to just escape the situation, or somebody wants to escape the situation here. It's again, we are talking about this solidifying things. Look at this, is that 4, and it is like the Emperor that we really need to go through. But it just cannot happen before we are completely clear about what we want. I really think here for you, you kind of like know everything that you need to do. You know the motives, you know the steps, but you have no motivation. And for Sagittarius, to continue doing something without motivation is futile. You just see no reason to do that. You just get disenchanted, like you just lose your own passion with this, right? That's why you're saying, okay, whatever, I don't even want to know what you think, how you see it, because I don't care anymore. That not caring is like very, very important, because when you release it, that enthusiasm and everything will come back. There is like a person here who is helpful, or who you need to become. Maybe you need to look in your emotions. Maybe you bottle something up. This is, after all, a huge cup of energy. It could be somebody who is motherly, who is saying, okay, kind of like talk it out. Maybe you just simply need to let it out of your system. This is very, very strong. It's like you need to clear your energy, because that energy is holding you down. You cannot fly as long as you're tied down. So release it, guys. It's extremely, extremely important, right? So let me see. I want to see the clarity for that, the Hangman, and for this like 5 of Swords over here. Why is this happening? Okay. Despair, hotness, and melody. Maybe you guys are worn out. Maybe you guys, this can be also talking about jealousy, because after all, We see the window is completely closed. We see nothing outside of this window, interestingly enough. The checkerboard always to me talks about duality. It's the fight between good and bad. And when we cannot solve that own riddle, right? But here is the picture, here is the flowers or something. It almost looks somebody, he was looking at somebody. And he needs support. Like, I mean, dude is trying to kill himself, but he's preventing himself from slipping. So what that tells you, he actually doesn't really want to kill himself, right? He's just desperate, right? And it's desperate because there is like a loss of pride. There's like something that's happening over here. There is like some kind of depression that I see here. Well, I hope, Sagittarius, you're not really depressed. And maybe that would show that bottling up of the emotions is really important. So if you have been going through something like that, and maybe you felt that the doors are closed to you, you're not moving forward, just say it, F it. Really, just do this full moon ritual. Write down things that you're letting go, burn it, and you say, this is it. Done. Put a fork in me. I'm over with this. And you will see that cloud is going to dissipate, that you almost like walk underneath. Look at this clouds are over here that shouldn't be happening. And I see that you'll be getting healthy. It looks like your ego is really, really affected, which really talks about, you know, ego is dominating us, and you're like a creative, you're a very creative sign. And as long as that ego is dominating you, you cannot move into that creative aspect of who you are. So it's almost like you're being prisoner in your own soul. So it's very important for you to do this release. It's very important for you to kind of like reach that proverbial end of something this particular week. And it's going to get to the point where you will need to have some sort of discussion, I would say. And Aquarians, we are last, right? So, Aquarius. So let's see what's going to be the week for us. Aquarius, 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 Aquarius. Glad to see that, Eve. I'm just reading this while I'm shuffling this. It's actually good, like when we detach from people. In a sense, we shouldn't be black and white, so just keep that in mind, guys. But we stay too much, we give too much time people who are not important, who are just blabbing and flipping their lips, and they're not helping. And even if they're helping, sometimes you tell them you are not receptive, you cannot absorb it, it will still force it down. So it has to be lots of elements that need to be taken in account. Okay, Aquas, nothing is jumping out. Aquarius, Aquarius. Whoa. Something else. Look at this eights. What is about commitment of some sort, like some messages from a distance? Oh my gosh, Aquarius, thank God that we finally get something nice, something good. Oh my gosh, this is so freaking wonderful. This is a committal energy. Maybe this can be business, this can be personal relationship. This card is generally talking about, and people call it love arrows, and this is that full moon in Virgo. For us, it's going to, lots of things will depend what we do on the 8th of March. And this is the International Day of Women, which is tomorrow. And tomorrow I already know what I'm doing. I'm traveling to see my dad and taking him to a doctor, and kind of like looking at this kind of details, minuscule details around the house, what needs to be repaired, etc. Right? So this is also the travel and distance. So I can see for me very clearly what is happening over here. In general aspects, we have like 2 8s, and 2 8s are 16. It's a tower card, which could mean that it can be some kind of shift and tectonic shift. But in this particular week, it's not going to have negative impact. It could be that we will prevent something because we will realize, oh, this has to be fixed. And this can be a physical thing, or it can be a spiritual thing, or it can be an emotional thing. Kind of like addressing the issue before the issue starts. And it's kind of like that ultimate prevention, right? This can kind of like deal with the health, and we'll be really able to really look into everything on the 8th. And then on the 10th, we'll have huge benefits out of it. We are getting out of that Mercury retrograde. This is clearly something that has been affecting Aquarians here very much, and the full impact is going to be around the 18th. That is going to feel clear and everything is moving forward. I'm not stuck in some kind of like darkness, in some kind of like weirdo twilight zone. I mean, at least I was feeling this way. And we have, this could be the one. You have already met the romantic partner you seek. Yes, this can also talk that could be somebody, and in fact, especially if you have Pisces, another Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, or Leo, it can be also Virgo. These kind of people would feel special connection with us, and it's going to feel that somebody is going to pop up. And don't jump on the first solution, because actually there are going to be more than one. And we are going to be almost like shrewd this particular week, very much unlike our little fluffy heads and how we go about things. It's going to be different. We will be really looking into what makes sense and who so far has been building this whole system with us versus just plopping in our life. And almost looks like we have no patience for this, but you know, it says that we are looking in a potential with somebody who has shown or proved us that they would do things for us, because usually we are the ones who give and they are the ones who take. And this time is telling me that we have learned to be the ones who can be kind of like completely self-sufficient. And yet, understanding this, we are also understanding that the other party that comes has to have the same quality. So that tower that is like brewing underneath is more or less talking about, okay, I am seeing it, you'll be a Klingon and not the one from the Star Trek New Generation, but rather the one who would be just putting us down, right? Clinging on us, right? But we also have 26 here. It's the 8, which is going to show us that we'll be a good communicator, we'll be dealing with things, and we will be resolving things. The Wheel of Fortune is on our side. Lucky week, playing lottery, enjoying things. And I'm like so envious of the guy who won 70 millions over here last week. It would be so nice to be me, right? That would be so freaking nice. But yeah, we are soldiering on, we're moving forward. So romantically, it could be communication with someone, and you're going to filter them through our x-rays, our kind of like system, and looks like some of them are going to pass the test. Things can actually really work out. This really looks nice. Nice. So guys, this is it. You see, I wanted to have it 1 hour and it turns into 2 hours, but we did get to what we needed to get, and so glad to see you here, guys. Don't forget to like. I say to somebody did go and liked it, and hopefully to get more likes than this, I'm going to send Barbie the thing and look forward to the timestamps. Would like to hear your comments as well. Thank you everybody being here on live. Thank you, Barbie, for taking this administration in your hands. And guys, you know, next Saturday is what? Is it? Yeah, I'm here. 14th, I'm here. We are going to celebrate, and then 2 weeks from now we have spring, and it's not going to be only 21st. It's going to be a big shift astrologically. So it's going to be totally crazy, that particular reading in 2 weeks from now. So love you. I'm going to put some music on to say goodbye, and then you still have a few minutes. And I'm going to leave the same music that we had before. Or should I have a playful music? Let's have something playful. And when it finishes, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to do the lunch. And you guys hopefully are going to have a wonderful day and wonderful weekend. So this is not playing, and it's not playing because it is all silence. So let me try to do it properly. You see, Mercury retrograde makes you just go crazy whenever doing it basic stuff. So thank you guys. You have a wonderful weekend, and you know that I love you. I'm so glad that your dog clicked. Please subscribe. Please come back, and we're so glad to have you there. MK. Love you all. Have a nice weekend.